Down now, we have former senior advisor to Bill Clinton and Democratic strategist Mr. Richard Socarides. And from Miami, CNN political commentator, Republican strategist Anna Navarro. Anna, let me start with you. You were at the event last night. In terms of vetting Hillary as a candidate, you heard something on a major issue from her last night that you did not like. Tell us about it.
I actually thought her answer on the Venezuela issue was just so lackluster. When she got asked about that, there wasn't one word condemning what's going on in Venezuela, not one word condemning the thuggery, violence, and murders by Nicolás Maduro. She answered the question by starting and saying, Venezuela, well, I would venture to say that the family members of the 16 dead people at the hands of Nicolás Maduro, 7 of whom have been shot in the face and died, would argue that it's not a democracy.
Anna, let me bring that to you, Mr. Socarides. Hillary's been getting a free pass so far in terms of being the presumptive candidate. Now that she starts to talk, there'll be a different level of vetting. What do you think of that answer, and what happens from here?
Well, I thought she did a superb job last night. I thought she radiated an amazing command of the issues. I mean, no one is more in command of the issues than she is. I thought she seemed, very warm. She seemed relaxed, at ease. She seemed like she was having a great time. I thought her answers were substantive and right on the money. People know her record as Secretary of State and that she is concerned about the human rights issues in Venezuela. So I think this is, Anna has maybe found a very small point that was a little discordant with her, but I think overall, everybody else this morning is saying she did an amazing job.
But Anna's picking up on something that we have to look at the lens through. Go ahead, Anna.
Well, a couple of things. First, let's put this speech in context. This was a paid speech in front of a very sympathetic audience, very captive audience, moderated by her lifelong friend, Donna Shalala, who filtered the questions and served her up a bunch of softballs, none of which she hit out of the ballpark. In fact, Donna Shalala prefaced the Venezuela question by saying to her, there's a lot of students here who are from Venezuela. They wanted to hear some words of solidarity from Hillary Clinton. What I heard her do was give a lot of kind of diplomatic speak, not campaign firebrand speak. I'll tell you, Mark Caputo, the reporter of the Miami Herald, tweeted out that the first 25 minutes of her speech were a cure for insomnia. And I felt pretty much the same way. She was flat as a bottle of champagne that's laid open in the refrigerator for the last 2 days.
Well, it certainly didn't, Anna, it certainly did not look like that on television where I saw it. She seemed in command. She seemed at ease. She seemed warm, totally in command of all the issues. So I don't know what speech you looked at, and maybe the campaign, Chris, is already getting started. But
shouldn't it? That's one of the questions, right, is that 82% say they want her. She's obviously out there making the rounds. They're raising a ton of money. There's infrastructure in place. You have those stories about them going through their list of, who's naughty and nice. At what point is this delay just about her delaying the inevitable and not wanting to take on the responsibility of running?
I think she's been very clear that she's going to take a look at the race this year, and I think that by early next year, certainly after the midterm, she'll let people know whether or not she wants to run.
How does she explain not running at this point?
Well, I think most people expect her to run. I expect her to run. I hope she runs. But I think, it's a complicated equation. It's an amazing personal commitment. She's given her life to the country as her husband and her family has. I think if she decides not to run, it will be a personal decision and people will understand it. But I think, at this point, people expect her to run. They hope that she will run. Most Democrats hope she will run.
Anna, something that's unusual here is
I think what those numbers that you just you quoted today of the poll, Chris, what they show is that Hillary has frozen the Democrat field. Everybody's expecting her to run. So if she's not going to run, really I think it's incumbent on her to make a decision sooner than there is pressure on any Republican to make it, because the Republican field is not frozen. We don't have the same issue. If she decides not to run, you're going to end up with a lot of Democrats who have not as much of a national network or name ID scrambling to form it.
Anna, you are usually so positive, and I don't know what's happened to you this morning. I mean, you're talking about a frozen field on the Democratic side. I mean, we Democrats are excited. We've got someone we're rallying around. We've got someone that there's a lot of support for. If she decides not to run, there are a lot of other Democrats who could come in. I think that you are trying to tactically cover up the problems in the Republican Party, where you have a very splintered field and you have nobody out there who's in the lead, and you have a very weak bench. I mean, and all the people like Chris Christie, your front runner, is like now in shambles, trying to stay governor of New Jersey. So I mean, listen, I think it's a little early to talk about to talk like this, but I was hoping we'd have a nice little chat this morning, Anna. But I guess the campaign has started.
Listen, all right, well, listen, when I'm talking about a frozen field, what I'm saying is that no other Democrat is able to make the moves, not even the Vice President of the United States, to form a campaign, start raising the funds, start tying up donors, while Hillary has not yet made
I hear
a
you on that, Anna.
because she has frozen the field of other competitors. I don't mean that it is a cold, frozen tundra of a field.
No.
You know what I'm saying is everybody else is out there figuring out what she's going to do.
We get the point, and if Hillary doesn't run, she's going to have a lot of big donations to make so whoever else does get in the race can get some of the money that's gone to her. But let me ask you about your party, because you guys are in a bigger struggle. Finding who is often easier than finding what the main message is going to be. You know, you look at what's happening in Arizona, it seems to be a little bit of a window into your party trying to catch up with the presumptive times. How do you read that issue, and what does it mean for your party in terms of figuring out who it wants to be as it heads into these big elections?
Listen, as far as the Arizona issue and gay rights and gay marriage, I am completely supportive of gay marriage, completely supportive of equality. I think people have to come to terms with the fact that this battle is over. The court has ruled. You know, it is consistent with what we say Republican values are. If we are the party of family unity, then for the love of God, let us legitimize gay families. If we are the party that is pro-marriage and pro-institution of marriage, let us allow people who love each other and want to be married to be able to do so. If we are the party of personal freedom, there is no greater personal freedom than choosing who to love and who you want to spend the rest of your life with. All of these bills, what they're doing is, frankly, spending the money of taxpayers defending things that are indefensible and are going to be found unconstitutional. I think Governor Brewer did the smart thing yesterday. It was going to cost her state a ton in money, in canceled conventions, canceled events, boycotts. When you've got companies like Marriott, which is led by, you know, some very strong Mormons coming out and saying, please veto this bill, I think it tells you what the economic, social, political, and just world reality is on this issue.
Socarides, you got to Anna. She gave you a gift in that last answer. Sounds like a Democrat in that answer.
I couldn't say, Anna, I could not have said that better. You're amazing.
To see you end as friends, Anna.
By the way,
just take it as that.
By the way, let me also tell. Well, thank you. Good morning. Thank you, mi amigo. But let me remind you, though, we've got now 3 openly gay Republican congressmen running. So the times, they are a-changing. Not as fast as I'd like, but they are a-changing.
It'd be great if the rest of your party recognized that, and I actually think they are coming around.
Socarides is the first Anna Navarro for president. My wife's check is in the mail. Richard Socarides, thank you very much. Anna Navarro, always a pleasure. Thanks for being on New Day. Yes? Go ahead,
Chris,
take your shot.
If a guy from Canada can do it, so can a woman from Nicaragua.
Kate, over to you.